Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming with more Hearts of Iron 4 La Résistance, playing as the Regional Defense Council of Iberia. Anarchists have risen up. The Anarchist Commune. Pretty good stuff, honestly. So the question now is, where do we go now that we've already conquered all of Iberia? The most immediate and obvious answer would be to attack France. The problem is, it's 1939 and World War II seems to have broken out a little bit early. Italy is losing ground and apparently was not prepared for the French, which is disconcerting, to say the least. I do not want France to win this war resoundingly, or else we may find ourselves fighting all of Europe in the future. The Germans, however, are not making much ground either against Czechoslovakia and anybody else, so if we joined this war, could we turn things around? Yes, possibly. Do I think I'm strong enough to face the brunt of France myself right now? No. No, I do not. We could possibly just sit here and let them throw themselves against me, but what I really need is be training up a lot more troops. And I mean a lot more. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit low on the artillery at the moment. Yeah, I could just train a load of regular infantry. And to be fair, we do have better infantry than most people in the game. Mainly thanks to the fact that we have a genius military council giving us an extra 15 attack and 20% defense. It's pretty huge. So, could we hold this? Maybe turn the war a little bit, just buy some time for the Axis to kind of fight them back, and eventually I just jump in and try to take my fair share of France? Possibly. The safer option to continue growing, but potentially risk the long-term game, would be to attack somewhere else where I hold some territory, such as in China, against the Guangxi clique, which actually would give me the opportunity to fight over Southeast Asia as well. Maybe eventually China could put me at odds with Japan, who is, by the way, non-aligned, but, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're not making a lot of progress either, so I think we could get away with this. How long would it take me to justify a war goal? That's way too long! 225 days? Ridiculous. 40 days, on the other hand, to attack France. How fast can we train up some units? It'll take about 3 months. I think we're going to have to go for France, mainly because I didn't realize it was going to take that long to justify anything against China. That sucks. That sucks pretty bad. So we're going to have to do this. That does mean we're probably going to lose some of our African holdings because the UK and France are going to absolutely obliterate me down there. But, yeah, if we can get enough troops on the front line to actually make a difference over here, I think that's kind of our only real path forward now. Okay, well, that'll be fun. We do have a collectivized society. We have a closed economy. I don't think that the Axis is going to invite me to join their faction. I'm pretty sure we are more or less unable to join factions, which is kind of weird, but there you go. Could modify the government. Is there anything that would make a big difference right about now? Let's see. Division recovery rate, 8% is pretty good. Air support could help if they're going to have air superiority, which they probably will. In fact, they definitely will. It's the frickin' allies. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Still can't go for the Council of Theorists because I have to go for the communal military strategies, which is actually what I'm working on right now, so maybe we go for this. Yeah, Verdeja tanks. Ooh, cool. So we have access to better light tanks. We could start researching the mediums. Yeah, that said, we're getting close to 1940. I could go for an ahead-of-time research bonus. Don't want to go for any construction tech. Would love to go for fighters. Not going to do that right now. Not going to worry about the naval game right now. Don't think we can afford that. Still working on the mass assault doctrine, which is going to pair very nicely with my boosts to infantry, by the way. Especially once I get to things like infantry combat width, so I can just stack more of them on there. It's pretty good. We're already working on an upgrade for our artillery. We could go for some upgrades to things like entrenchment, and I think I will do that, because that actually could be directly relevant against the French if I'm unable to actually push them back in any meaningful way. But once we start justifying, they're going to pull their troops off of Italy, which should buy them some time. And while I don't want the Axis to win in the long term, I don't want them to outright lose either. It wouldn't be good for me if that were to happen. Of course, you got Yugoslavia, the Kingdom of Romania. Basically, they're just getting attacked on so many different fronts right now. Us taking out France would be a huge shift in the balance of power. Massive shift. What I wish I could do was some sort of seeds of revolution to try and get the French to join me voluntarily. But it's going to be a while yet before we can do something along those lines. Global Defense Council and all that. We have to go for maintaining the fire, go for the research slot. I don't even have the 50 factories necessary yet. Torchbearers of Tomorrow? Collective recovery efforts. I'd have to go for this? Really? Okay. This would get me extra infrastructure and factory repair speed. Okay. Get these Torchbearers of Tomorrow. Research speed increases. Just taking a look to see what the best path is here. War support, honestly, has not been an issue. I'm not sure why that matters. And then, yeah, anarchism knows no borders. And I can justify war all the time. Down here should be more fortifications. More factories, all of which are good. The inevitable counterblow, recovering from the Civil War decisions. Making it possible to return owned Spanish states to the status of core states if they have sufficiently high compliance. That will be helpful. Also, we get anarchist zeal, which gives me more support, war support, minimum training level, etc., which actually works, again, very well with our mass assault doctrine. I don't need to worry about fortifying any of this. So the question is, do I go down this route to get the seeds of revolution, or do I go for ways of getting additional states? Well, we have to get Torchbearers of Tomorrow regardless, so I think we're going to have to go for communal military strategies, then go for maintaining the fire, then collective recovery efforts, then Torchbearers of Tomorrow. And from there, we can decide what we want to do. But that seems to be what we're kind of shooting into at this point. No options. Not really. Okay, well, let's see. We are still having a pretty nasty deficit of artillery equipment. It's going to be another 145 days before we'll have everything we need. Doesn't help that we are still actively training a lot of these units. So we are using up some of our artillery. You have an extra trait. Infantry expert for more attack. Well, that seems pretty good. The entrenchment would be helpful to just ensure that I don't die. But at the same time, if we're going to be very infantry heavy, infantry don't have the best attack, so this could help make up some of that loss. And actually make us a little bit more offensive. So I'm okay with that at the moment. You don't have any additional trait. Yeah, we've basically stacked up a lot of aggression. We're going to throw bodies at the problem. That's my solution. We get a bunch of states. Once they have high enough compliance, we get millions of manpower, and we just start throwing it into the meat grinder until we win. Might be missing a few steps to profit there, but I mean, don't question it too much. I'm sure it'll be fine. German Reich formalizes the anti-Soviet pact and also the Quit India movement. It would be awesome for me if the Raj were to leave the UK. If they were to lose that primary jewel in their crown. Hungary is still surviving. They're doing okay. Croatia, or Bosnia, I guess. Independent state of, no, it is Croatia, is somehow holding together a little bit. I guess the Kingdom of Romania is not actually contributing too much. Let's go for maintaining the fire. And then we're going to go for the Council of Theorists, which gives me experience in every category. Not a very large amount, but some. And also research speed in every category. Technically, it might be better to have pure land doctrine speed, but I don't even think we can get this guy anymore because, you know, we only can have councils, basically. We're really not supposed to have independent people. What are we building right now? Still working on some civilian factories because I just don't have a large economy. That's probably my biggest issue, and it's one of the reasons I want to fight France, because one of the best ways to get a larger economy at this point is to take it from somebody else. And yet, we seem to be a little bit on the struggle side there. Trying to train these guys up. I know I'm using up some artillery. I know, we won't have enough. But if we can at least have a 25% modifier for these guys in combat, that could end up making a difference. How many planes do I have? Basically none. So we can't really rely on effectively any air support. Yeah. I'm wondering if maybe going ahistorical was a mistake. Oh god, I am watching France just careen into Italy here. It may be time for us to go ahead and start justifying a war goal. We'll have a few more troops we can employ. About in time. Just about. I'm going to get a high priority just to finish training these guys. Supply any artillery to these guys here just so we can get some more. And yeah. We may have to fabricate a claim just to scare France at this point and pull them off the line. And I think we're going to. Aquitaine? Yep. Doesn't cost me much. Won't take a lot of time. But I expect we're going to start seeing the French come charging to the front lines at this point. We would love to get up to the river So we can just hold this area at the very least. That would be ideal. I don't have enough troops to do much over here, but I would like to get to Bordeaux. And if we can hold this, it's a good entrenchment spot to give the Axis some more time. They actually seem to have cut off some troops over here. That could be good for them, depending on if they get Livorno. So maybe that's going to work out nicely. I'm wondering if this means that France just emergency started pulling some troops off the front line. They do have some down over here. Where are my spies currently? We are still spying in France. We got a little bit of intelligence. We have no idea how many troops they have, though. We know they've got a load of factories. Plenty of manpower at the moment. They're producing a lot of military equipment. Some tanks. Tanks scare me, I'm not going to lie. Could be a rather substantial issue. You guys are about to finish training. I was about to stop them to make sure we have time before this war, but we'll go ahead and let them finish up because they're about done anyway. There we go. So we have regulars, so nobody's training anymore. That's good. Let's go ahead and start working on the research speed. Since at the moment we don't really have a lot, he is indeed pulling plenty of troops to the front line. Yeah, it's going to be hard for me to break through these mountains, to be honest. I mean, we'll look for an opening, but... yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of good opportunities there. He's got enough troops he could stop me, but if he just keeps throwing himself against me, maybe that ends up still being fine. I'm not feeling a lot of confidence. Luxembourg joins the Allies, so it looks like the German Reich is planning on using their tried-and-true method of going through the Low Countries to attack Paris. That actually times very well with what I'm trying to do. So we might have just increased their odds of success, which again could result in an opportunity for me to get a lot of territory out of France. Got to hold out for another 22 days, though, which I think is fine. Artillery. We could start upgrading our artillery. We'd have to set back our efficiency, which would guarantee we don't deploy as many troops, though. Armored cars and stuff, I'll worry about that later. Let's go ahead and start working on some support weapons, get some extra defense. So yeah, we're producing 3 per day, which is not a lot. At this point, I think it's not going to hurt us. We're not going to have enough before this war anyway, so let's just go ahead and swap over to the good stuff. 274 days to fully reinforce these guys. May just have to deploy them without. Not sure we got much choice in the matter. Could deploy these guys early. Just watching what's happening over here. Italy was just weak this game. They were not prepared. If you guys can split off Czechoslovakia over here, then Prague won't be able to supply everything in this little area, and you can finish them off. Kind of cut the forces of the Allies apart from each other, possibly. We do need to be wary of the English Navy causing issues, of course. You guys are all grouped up. What I may want to do is split off some submarines. And the subs will do convoy raiding out here. Just on the off chance he tries to send some troops over to Yugoslavia or something like that. I'm not sure how much of a difference that's going to make. I would love to have some troops down here to deal with France over around Gibraltar and stuff. All the more reason we really need to finish training up these troops. Grabbing Gibraltar would be nice. Defending in Africa would also be nice, in northern Morocco, but I'm not sure we're going to have that opportunity, to be honest. I think that we're going to be spread pretty thin as is. We do not have much in the way of fuel. For now, I'm going to tell you guys to hold, because there's no reason I'm using up my fuel. Justification is Dunskies. We want to hold off until we have at least a few more troops. There they are. You guys are going to all join over here, and then we're going to set up a quick front line around Gibraltar, just to make sure he doesn't have any place that he can drop off some more troops. I actually don't know if he has any troops over here already. He does not, which means this should be a free take for me. He has some open lines here, but I think I want to commit myself to fighting in France proper and try to bust through here while the Germans are doing their thing as well. I'm not going to trade for any more aluminum. I'm not worried about it right now. Any more troops that are going to be trained up anytime soon? Yes. If we had a little bit more equipment, we could train up some more. We actually have some free dockyards. Weird. Alright, why don't we build some more destroyers, I guess. And just make sure you guys are properly set up. Playing as a minor power and getting involved in these big wars is always a scary thing for me. Maintaining the fire is done. Let's go for the collective recovery effort. which gives me a lot of repair speed, which I don't need, and infrastructure, which I do need. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go for it. Looking for any vulnerable spots. We could probably push hard here and try to break through and get around Toulouse. Or Montpellier. Just encircle these guys around the coastline, possibly. But I think he's going to drop the hammer on me pretty hard. I'm going to be very, very cautious about not pushing too far forward. War goal is going to expire in March 6th. I'm going to go ahead and deploy these guys now. I know they're not finished, but let's just go ahead and do it. They're green. They could use a little bit more training time. They could use some more artillery. They'll figure it out. Right now, bodies on the field. That's what I need right now. Bodies on the field. All right, I think we just go for it and throw caution to wind and say go. Rise up, people! Rise up, my peeps. Okay, I think we do, in fact, try to commit to an attack here. Yep, all the allies are going to join in. We're going to pin these guys down so they can't reinforce. These guys are actually leaving for some reason. So are these guys. They're kind of reshuffling a lot. If we can break through the mountains somewhere, that would be great. Not sure if we'll get that opportunity, but possibly. Let's try to pin you down so the mountaineers don't get over there. He doesn't have a lot sitting here. He does have a tank. There's a couple of tanks, actually, which I'm not in the mood to fight. The UK should have been called in, so let's just go ahead and walk in and take Gibraltar. He's going to take over Morocco, but he shouldn't be able to come over to my territory proper, so I'm okay with that. We're just going to lose a lot of our African holdings, which hurts. But this does mean that Gibraltar's mine, so no immediate landing points for the British. We'll send some more reinforcements up over this direction. We did manage to push through here, so this is a very good thing. If you guys can then circle around over here, we can get a small surround on a couple of troops. Fall of Gibraltar, good. The allies are all mobilizing pretty hard. No surprise there. We do have air superiority over my own territory, which is good, I guess. Italy is still getting pushed pretty hard. Germany's doing absolutely nothing. I think they're completely distracted with Czechoslovakia. Which is just embarrassing for them, to be honest. Can you reinforce here? You can. Okay, looks like we can get through here. I'm going to try to punch through this away. There goes India. India's going to take some territory off of me. We are getting up into Toulouse. Doesn't have a lot sitting here at the moment. If you can get up here and take this, that would be great. Looks like we are going to be able to take up Toulouse. That's good. Another little surround right here, perhaps. Sure, surround his mountaineers. Little stippy steps. Can you guys push through here and win? Yeah, it looks like it. Where are the tanks going? So the tanks are going this way, if I had to guess. We could try pinning the tank down, but why waste the equipment? Alright, so there goes Morocco. No surprises there. We could reform our government. No, we can't. What am I talking about? We have 150 army experience. That's not the same thing. We should probably continue upgrading our... Yeah, I've not upgraded our thing at all. Oh. Probably could use some passive defense. I know I don't have a lot of civilian factories to spare, but I think we need it. Canada has been called in. Well, it's all over. Pack it in. Okay, so we're going to get in through here. We have a couple of tiny surrounds that are about to finish. See if we can assist over here. You guys burn them down. Same here. Nope, don't. Never mind. Just burn these guys out. Give them no room. These guys appear to be fairly weak at the moment. No, they're not. Never mind. I'm fairly weak. Don't actually want to be fighting over Toulouse if there are going to be a bunch of tanks. I would, however, love to do something around here and try to surround their tanks. We have enough passive defense, or enough just infantry defense, that they can't do a lot. Let's try pushing here and pin these guys down, if nothing else. I can get you guys to circle around this way. That's another good surround in the mountains. Seems like we're making some pretty good progress. Still no help from the Germans, though. We're doing a fair bit, despite the fact that we have very few troops. I'm proud of that. attack here and just finish them off. Okay, tell you what, we're gonna try pushing this direction. And try to indeed go for some sort of a surround on these guys, just for a few more stacks. Need one of you to stay behind. Why don't you actually head up toward Bordeaux? See if we can seize their factories. We overran some troops. That's fun. Pin you down. Don't let them help. Should be able to get us around on a few more troops right here. Got it. Okay. All of you just collapse. Finish them off. Shouldn't last long. So far, so good. I'm going to have one of you go up here. One of you go over here. Let's start pushing up to the river. Good defensive location at the very least. You got Bordeaux. That's good. To get some dockyards out of that. If only dockyards were helpful to me. Cruisers, destroyers, and if we have the opportunity to make more subs, go for it and you'll be assigned to this one. And then I'd rather really not worry about it. We could use some more steel. Does this mean we've actually started producing more other equipment? No, it does not. Boo. Alright, who can give me some steel? How about our friends, the Soviets? Surely you guys appreciate what we're trying to do right now with the People's Revolution, right? Now, the hilarious thing about them is I'm pretty confident that the Soviets are going to hate me. You're the wrong type of communism. What? Yeah. Let's go ahead and assign a couple more troops over there. Okay, still training up more regular infantry. How are we doing on equipment? We are lacking a lot of artillery. We're going to only be able to do one more of these, I think, and then we're going to have to stop. Really need a lot more factories to be dedicated over here. How are we doing as far as civilian factories? Not great, honestly. I think we're kind of stuck with what we've got. It's a question of, can we turn out some sort of a miracle and actually win this war with very little overall? Right now, my troops feel confident, and I don't see a whole lot on their front line. I'm going to tell them to go. They've got their planning bonuses. I say use your mass assault and push like freaking mad. You try to encircle around this way. We'll see if we can't encircle anybody else. Engineer companies are done. You're going to try to walk up here to La Rochelle and see if we can't see some more factories. I see them right there, so I want them. Recon could be a good upgrade. I think our units have recon, right? Not all of them. Just the infantry. So we get some value, but not a ton. Upgrades to artillery won't do me a lot of good when we don't have a lot fielded. I think we're going to go for the extra soft attack first, higher priority. You're going to try to circle around over here. These guys feel real uncomfortable with their situation. And if you can get around here, we got 4 troops currently sitting in this area. If we can attack hard here, that'd be good. Maybe not quite. So why don't you try going this direction? We did take Toulouse. Okay. Gonna ask you guys to basically push around here to get to Montpellier, but it looks like we are actually getting over here already. You take his air base, you get up to Montpellier that way. So far, so good. The French appear not to be prepared for the onslaught of just the Spanish people with guns. You go ahead and get added onto the front line. Not enough manpower for garrisons, not enough equipment is what you mean to say. And we are indeed out of infantry equipment. Okay, so we need to go ahead and cancel some of these. Because I do not want to have unsupported troops on the front lines. That would be very bad. There we go, that helps a little bit. Continue pushing up here toward Brittany, and let's see if we can't just take everything he's got here. And it looks like a lot of free territory that's more or less undefended at the moment. You're going to be pushing up here. And if we can have someone else also push up toward, let's say, Tours, and then to Orléans, that would be good. And you are going to go over here and get to whatever the heck else. It seems like the French are just letting me just run right through. This was absolutely the right call. If we can beat the snot out of France, maybe we can get all their African holdings too. That does leave a devastating UK, but even so... Now, I don't think we've joined our wars, technically. No, apparently we have. I've got only 12% of the war score, despite the fact that I am clearly doing the most work against the Allies right now. You guys have just been sitting back and getting pooped on. So you're all just embarrassing yourselves, but okay. I see an opening right here, and I say we go for it. I say we pin these guys... Nope, nope, you go here. I'd say we take you and pin these guys down so they don't reinforce anytime soon. I'd love to entrap some motorized or something. Resources sabotaged. I'm going to have to live with that, I think. The French are probably going to start freaking out and overreacting in a moment. Let's go ahead and start pushing his cavalry out. Passive defense for our spy agency. That's certainly good since there's not a whole lot else I can do with it. Let's try to get some more civilian factories up, and then we'll go for another level of something. I want to upgrade that and get a second spy. It'd be helpful to get rid of the resistance we are currently facing. Alright, don't fight him. Just go wherever we see openings. Our troops are not deploying very quickly, and it bothers me. They're kind of leaving some pretty wide openings. Can you in any way help me? Because I would like to surround this tank. It'd be pretty significant if I can get a surround on the tank. It's getting a little difficult, though. He's got his air superiority. Honestly, I don't think there's a whole lot I can do to contend with that. We can try to intercept something. It won't do me a lot of good, though, and we'll probably just lose our planes. We'll try to get a little bit of an advantage there, if possible. Let's see. Do you see an opportunity for a quick surround on this tank here? Let's pin him down. We're going to get through here, no problem. He's got no organization. You get up here and try to take Cherbourg, which is going to get me some extra... Well, it's going to block this guy off, so that's another easy surround. Brest is going to be taken care of. That means all these divisions can go back to the front line. Let's assign at least a couple of guys there, but it looks like we do indeed have some freebies encircled, including a French tank. That's huge. Every tank removed from the game is substantial at this point. He could still move in here and cut me off if we're not careful. Wasn't quite able to get to Paris before he rapid redeployed, but we've definitely spread him pretty thin. See an opportunity to push in here, so let's do it. Oh, hang on, he broke through. Yeah, I left that one open. Let's go ahead and start finishing this guy off. Got that. Nope, just go ahead and help here. We got some more troops, good. Send them to the front lines. Really need to try and do something here. I want to surround this tank still. I'm not quite giving up on that. Does mean I need to get rid of these guys, though, and they're making it a little difficult. Not sure we're going to be able to get that. Help me out over here. Let's just burn this guy down faster. His organization's going away. Again, just little things I don't have to worry about anymore. These guys are getting pushed back. Good. I don't think I'm going to be able to surround this tank after all. Just because he's got 3 defense infantry over here, so the best thing we can do now is just kind of push them away. Still making progress. We're now holding the river, which is very good. See if we can get up to Lyon. Not easily. This is where we're starting to lose some ground. Try to do a quick encirclement around this guy. Get to Le Havre. Or however the heck you're supposed to say that, I don't know. I feel like it'd be a good thing to get. Can you guys push around this way? Possibly. If we get some reinforcements, I feel like our odds are better. Okay, so far so good. An ace pilot promoted, really. Okay, well, we've already assigned him to the fighter wing. I mean, small wings with ace fighters do tend to perform a little bit better. So that could be helpful. We're making some good progress here. I mean, how are we doing in terms of production? We're starting to produce some more artillery and stuff. Okay. But it's not enough. We are slowly but surely starting to bleed out equipment. The Italians are still doing just nothing. The Germans have their war goal against Luxembourg. They declared the war. They've done nothing. This is where I'm getting confused. The Germans are doing absolutely nothing. Are you really that obsessed with dealing with the Czechs? I guess it makes sense because Prague is so close to Berlin, but in the meantime, I'm doing all the heavy lifting and I'm going to get all of France for myself. which is shocking given the fact that I really don't have a whole lot, but somehow we're pulling it off. There's the collective recovery efforts done. Now we're going to go for Torchbearers of Tomorrow, which gives me some more recovery rate, which is great. And also research speed plus 5%, which is great. I feel like this is a frickin' Frosted Flakes commercial. They're great! Oh, good. We also finished Deep Battle, which gives me some supply consumption reduction. We can go for armored cars and some tank organization. Doesn't do me a lot of good. I'm going to go ahead and spend the experience anyway, though, because I would like to start getting toward things like operational concentration and vast offensives so we can use more combat width to put more of these glorious infantry on the front lines. And take a look at this. We are indeed going to be getting an encirclement around all of these guys. That's great. Let's go ahead and push against them. You pin them down. Don't let them go anywhere. We're going to get up to Le Havre, which is also quite good. Yep, that's going to be another port and some victory points for me. Probably some more supply points. Looks like we are actually very close. Hang on. We are very close to being able to push right here. If I can get a quick encirclement around these tanks, that's also big. Looks to me like we can get it if we're a little bit faster than these, which it looks like we got. And France dies! Ha-ha! Yay! France has capitulated, and you released Vichy France. How dare you? How dare you release Vichy France? All right. But what this means is I can go ahead and set up some offensives against, let's say, Luxembourg, and I'll just go ahead and take your stuff. Are we at war with Luxembourg, too? I mean, they're part of the Allies, so I guess I would be. But we just got all of this. We lost all of this, but we got this. Which means I get more factories overall, so I mean, that wins. Sweet, let's go for some more infantry equipment, then a little bit more support in artillery, then some more fighters and interwar bombers, and so on. Probably need artillery first. Yeah, so we're going to set up a quick offensive here against Luxembourg. I think we can just go ahead and take that. I don't think the Germans are doing much. Then we need to begin a counteroffensive down here in Africa. Try to free up some of my territory again. Vichy France got all of this territory, but that should throw the UK for a bit of a loop. My question then becomes, can I find a way to get across the UK so that I can eat this territory from the Allies? That went surprisingly well, though. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.
All right, let's go ahead and do it.